Welcome into another episode of the Three Fever Point After Podcast. I'm Alex Anderson, joined by Coach Jeff Harper. And, Coach, another one of our special guests here today.
Yeah, man. We have the Calvary Golden Gun here tonight, man.
Hudson
Price.
Yeah, Hudson Price in the house here with us today. And, Hudson, you guys looking pretty good here as we get down to that stretch run. Huge win in the game of the week over Union Parish. I guess, to start, a simple question. What's working so well for you guys right now?
I mean, our defense has been playing great all year. I think they had like 7 turnovers last week. Our offense, we started off kind of slow. We had 3 big games in the beginning of the year, but I mean, we've been clicking like really well lately. So everybody's playing great. Our special teams too.
Yeah, absolutely. And we've seen it every night. It seems like there's always somebody else getting a touchdown for you guys, whether it be, like you said, Braylon on special teams. I know Luke had a 103-yard pick six Friday night as well. And it's so interesting with you guys because I remember way at the beginning of the year, I was out at practice. I know y'all were still in the little QB competition, so Coach didn't let me talk to you guys. But everyone I did interview, it was kind of the same theme. Look, we know we lost a ton to graduation, but this is a young, hungry Calvary team, and you guys seemingly haven't really missed a beat. How have you guys been able to uphold that high standard at Calvary?
Everybody just knows that we want to win every game, and I feel like not a lot of people had a lot of faith in us at the beginning of the year because of everybody that we did lose, but we all knew we had what it takes. We still know we have what it takes to win, and we've shown that, and we just worked as hard as we could. Everybody just bought in all summer long, and it's worked out.
And I'm sure it was probably very helpful to be around a guy like Abram and watch him prepare and everything else. And what do you think you were able to learn from Abram?
I learned a lot from Abram, like leadership. I mean, he was even better off the field than he was on the field. In like chapel and school in the hallways. I mean, I always looked over and he was encouraging somebody, doing something to help out.
Well, I know someone that is always singing your praises, especially on this show, is this guy right here. And, we'll have Coach talk about you in a second, but I'd like to ask the guys a little bit about Coach Harper and, give him his flowers a bit, so to speak. And, how helpful has Coach been through your journey?
I mean, he's the main reason probably that I am where I am right now. I started in like 5th or 6th grade with him. And really this year was really like my main year with him. I was there pretty much every single day, and he bought into me, let me lead the stretches. He told me that I need to be a leader for the team this year, and so he helped me lead at practice every Monday and Thursday, and just basically bought into me as much as he could and gave me confidence.
That's one thing I love so much about football in this area. You have your teams and obviously you're loyal to your school and all that, but there's such a family type atmosphere when it comes to, just listening to you guys chat about guys that have played here previously or guys on other teams. For you, I know you've talked a lot about Hudson this season, but what have you seen from him this year really getting a chance to lead that Calvary offense?
Well, what people don't realize is Hudson's never really had an opportunity to play a full game at Calvary. And so when you're in a quarterback competition and everything has been set up to where you split a game, you get a half, everything kind of gets kicked up a little bit. Everything is a little bit more intense. Everything's a little bit harder. And one thing that I've seen just over this year, especially this off season, is I've tried to put a ton of pressure on Huddy at workouts so that he can handle. Even one of the guys he was competing with was at our workouts, right? And Coach Guin, and I appreciate Coach Guin for this, he sends his quarterbacks to us. I mean, I've got, 6 or 7 kids in the program all the way down to the youth level. And so I wanted Huddy to kind of be the face of everything we were doing so he could feel it, wear it, experience. This is what it's like being the everyday leader of a football program. When you're the face of a football program, you don't get to take a day off. Right. You don't get to have a moment where you don't, coach a dude up on your offense. Like, part of being a quarterback is being an extension of the coaching staff on the field. So if I let him lead the stretch lines, and we do it, we have 72 sessions from January to the end of July. 72. I think he made 66, 67 of those. Like, he was there a lot. You're in charge of the groups. You do in our entire process. I wanted him to learn to be process oriented. So the warm-up process, and I'd get on to him. Why are we skipping stretches? Like, he doesn't understand, and now I think he does. You can't skip anything. Like, being detail-oriented, being process-oriented helps you through the process of a season, through preparation Monday through Thursday for a big game on Friday. And so even coaching up the little guys when they do a drill wrong. What is the thing that a quarterback has got to do with his teammates? If a guy runs a route wrong, it can't just be the coach saying it. If he goes over to his receiver and says, hey, look, that's supposed to be a 3-step, slant, and you're going too deep, or you need to be an outside release on this route, or you need to be, at 12 yards on the square cut. He needs to be able to coach guys up. And so when we have receivers there, if they do it wrong, he's got to coach them up. If we have quarterbacks doing it wrong, he's got to coach them up. And you don't just get there as a player. A lot of kids, doesn't come natural to be that type of leader. So when he said, I want you to push me, I want to be the best, and I got to follow, Abram. I want to be the best, and I want people to trust me when I'm in there. Well, I'm going to have to push you. And so he has taken it on, and we've had some moments where, I got on it pretty good for, hey, dial in. Quit worried about the girlfriend. Quit worried about what you're doing next. I didn't know what he was doing. And he would respond. Plus, we compete. Yeah. And I always put him against Bryce. I put him against LJ. If Abram was there, he was competing against Abram. Because at the end of the day, that job wasn't going to be given to him. He had to earn it. Yeah. And I'm proud of what he's done with the limited amount of reps and what it takes to develop at that position. And every week I see him just getting better and better and better. And that comes with the fact that he's getting more opportunities.
Well, you know what happens, Hudson, when you do worry about that stuff, like the girlfriend and stuff. You sit here and interview kids like you. That's where we are. But it worked out. But it's all good. And it's interesting to me. Like I kind of struggle with that even in this job, right? When I first started doing this show, a photographer brings me some highlights that maybe I didn't like, or they put an extra point in that I didn't like. It's tough to find that voice to say. Not being rude, but just to say, hey, I didn't like that, or let's do this differently. What really helped you find that voice?
I mean, I just had to kind of just do it. I mean, you don't always like it, but it's something you have to do to make everybody else better around you.
Love it. And you mentioned Coach Guin, and I'm sure you do not know this, but many, many years ago, let's take it back to 2005, I believe it was. Coach Guin actually was my driver's ed teacher. Out in Houghton. Yeah, I'm old. There we go. Let's just get it out of the way. I think he did a pretty good job. I feel like I'm a pretty good driver, so he coached me up then. What's it like to play for a legend like Coach Guin?
I mean, he's hilarious every day. He's always got a smile on his face. He's never really mad unless you do something to make him mad. But I mean, he's my favorite coach I've ever played for. Yeah. It's a blessing that we have him at Calvary, and I mean, he's a great guy. He's perfect.
Yeah, I've got countless Coach Guin stories we can tell some.
Well, Coach Guin is 100% behind this kid. I'm going to tell you, he cares about his players, but he also cares about their development. So he came to a workout this offseason. Wow. He called me and said, hey, I'm coming. I want to see how you're coaching Huddy. And then asked me in the workout. Now, this is a guy who's won a state championship. His Halton quarterback is the start quarterback for Dallas Cowboys. Yeah. He's asking me, a nobody coach, hey, how would you coach Huddy if you were in our situation? He wanted to find ways to connect with him. And I would tell Huddy and his mom and his dad, anytime they would hear me, they're committed to him, but he's got to go out there and he's got to prove that he is ready for this job. And people don't realize, like, Huddy's one of the most talented throwers of the ball in this area, right? I mean, he follows one of the most accurate high school quarterbacks to ever play. Right. And now, he's got the accuracy piece, but he's also extremely athletic, right? He can whip it all over the yard, multiple arm slots, can throw from the pocket, off platform. And here's the deal people don't realize. He can fly. Like, he can literally run. He can go. So there's so much upside to his game that I feel it necessary to, hey, there's a lot of people that are invested in his development, and none more so than his head coach, who was coming and texting and calling, asking, hey, what do we got to do? Where is he right now? What I want to come watch. I want to see what you're doing so we can implement some of these things for him at practice to help him feel comfortable. And so that says a lot about Coach Guin.
Yeah, and that doesn't surprise me one bit hearing that. He's just one of the best. And for you, how much? Obviously you go work out with Coach Harper a lot. I'm sure you got practice and class and all that stuff. What's a day in the life like? I'm sure your schedule's packed.
I wake up. I got to take my sister to school every day. I stop at the gas station by my house every single day. I get a biscuit. I go to school all day, lift weights, practice every single day.
Awesome. That
Really
sounds like a heck of a day right there. You got to
Yep.
love that, man. And I just navigating the challenges of not just being a high school quarterback, but playing for a school like Calvary. I know there's got to be some pressure that goes with that.
Oh, there's definitely a ton of pressure. I remember before the first game, I was so nervous. Actually, the jamboree, I was so nervous. I was shaking, and like I was kind of scared. I'm not even gonna lie, but I think now I feel like everybody's behind me. I feel like I'm just getting used to it. I feel like I'm getting warmed up, and I like it.
Love it, man. Get you a little fired up just hearing that, man. It's good stuff. Who's maybe the guy, it could be NFL, college, or maybe a guy a higher level that you look at and say, yeah, maybe I model my game after that, or man, I'd like to be like that.
My favorite quarterback to ever play football is Jackson Dart.
All right.
I love him. That is my favorite.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure you probably like Dart's film as well. He's looking pretty darn good.
Dart's pretty legit. I'd have to say if there's anybody's game that Hudson kind of reminds me of, he's got a little bit of the Josh Allen minus the big guy, like wanting to run people over. He can make all those crazy throws. Like, and I get on Huddy all the time. Please, let's put together just a natural stroke instead of trying to, he's Mahomes everything, but he's one of the rare guys that can do it. So I see a lot of, Josh Allen and just his natural arm talent that he can drive the ball, and plus he's athletic. He gets outside the pocket. He can beat you with his feet.
Love it. And where do you think, Hudson, when did this kind of dream of playing quarterback and stuff, when do you think that started for you?
When I was little, I played quarterback until I came to Calvary. I started playing wide receiver, and then all of a sudden I just started playing again. But ever since I was little, I always wanted to be like Cam Newton. I watched him a lot when I was growing up. Patrick Mahomes, Alex Smith. I've really always, my whole life really, ever since I started playing.
I thought he was going to be a lineman when he first started coming. He was chubby. He was chubby little joker.
It throws me for a loop to hear someone say, I used to love watching Cam Newton when I was growing up.
Yeah.
I was just straight up adult when Cam Newton started playing, so we love that. We usually, Coach and I usually kind of go through some games from last week and stuff that we saw. So feel free to chime in. I'm sure you watch a ton of film and are friends with a lot of these guys. And I guess we can really start in our game of the week with you guys. Maybe we thought it would be a little closer than it was, but it really seemed like your defense with those turnovers early. Tell me a little bit about that game.
Well, I definitely wasn't expecting it to be that big of a score. I mean, it was homecoming week. I feel like everybody was kind of distracted, but when we came to practice, we locked in and we came to the game, and those first two drives, I was like, I can feel it's going to be a great night, and then we just took off from there.
Love it. And I mean, not surprised by that outcome, but maybe a little in terms of how lopsided it was.
Yeah, you don't usually see a Union Parish team that struggles to score points.
Right.
You know what I mean? But then again, they'll tell you Calvary's a different animal, and so you show up and you play them on homecoming at Calvary. That's tough.
Yeah, absolutely, and we saw that. You at least had an easy night for Daniel. He was able to come back to the studio and help with top plays because the game was over in an instant. So that was nice. So thank you for that. You played a big part in that. Another game from last week that we talked a little bit about off air, but was that Ruston-Neville game. My goodness, Ruston just unflappable. I mean, they don't seem to be rattled by anything. They're playing these great teams in their league, and they're down in these games. They somehow always find a way.
I mean, champions do, and they've got it. Plus, they've got some really talented players over there that can make things happen. And I was watching the highlights, just kind of blown away with, Neville's legit. They're really good, especially on defense. And watching them struggle to stop Ruston and then turn around and they move the ball on Ruston. And I'm like, man, I mean, how good is Ruston's defense? And Neville's moving the ball on them, and then boom, there's the big stop, Yep. So those are two really quality teams. And Ruston, they seem poised to make another very deep run.
Yeah, they do. And they got Ash coming up, so that's another. I mean, that district just no off days in that.
No
district.
off days.
It's tough. But I mean, I like the Bearcats. It's hard to bet against them from what we've seen. Not really any. These past 2 weeks, I feel like these is kind of the precursor weeks to. I feel like weeks 9 and 10, we're really going to get into the meat of some games here. So we gave game of the week to Red River and Manny. We figured throw it back to a classic rivalry. I know Red River fell to Mansfield earlier this year, but they've looked good all year. And Manny, I cannot remember the running back's name off the top of my head, but did you hear his stat line from
it was ridiculous, like over 300 yards,
seven
rushing,
touchdowns, unbelievable. This game kind of has all the makings of a classic Red River Manny clash.
Well, I'll tell you what's going to happen. Okay, knowing Hassel is a defensive-minded coach. All right. He knows the run game very well, and he understands how Red River wants to defend them. So ultimately, here's what's going to happen. They're going to line up and they're going to ball control Red River and make Red River score every time they have the ball. Red River's going to be forced to stop the run. And then Hassel is going to dial up every type of exotic pressure and blitz he can and force them to protect Malik all night long.
Yep.
So Malik's going to have to go out there and he's going to have to get rid of the ball quick. All four of their skill guys, captain and those guys, are going to have to make big plays. And I'm using their nicknames because I coached them when they were freshmen. But this is a huge game. And the only thing that matters in Coshada, Louisiana is, are we going to beat Manny? That's the very first question I was asked when I went down there to work for Coach Bachman. And that's the only thing that matters to the people down there. And so last year was the first time they beat them in a long time. And now you flip the script and you got two teams that are really fighting for position in that district, and it could go either way. And Manny is going to make Red River be perfect every drive. Red River's got to get stops, and they got to force turnovers, and they cannot let Manny get ahead of the sticks and run the ball down their throat. If they do, it's going to be a very tough ball game. But I think it's going to be close, and I think it's going to come down to who doesn't turn the ball over.
Right.
And at this point right now, both teams have proven that they can stop the other team, and both teams have proven they can score a lot of points. So I think it's going to be a really close game.
Well, we're fingers crossed because what y'all did to us last week. I mean, it was hard to say. We'll finish that game up on the end of the show when it was already so lopsided. So if we wouldn't have given you guys Game of the Week this past week, we probably would have done it this week. You take it on Huntington, and really should be a great game. A lot of offense expected, but I know for you guys, it's probably very important to have a late season game against a 5A opponent to get you geared up for the playoffs.
We started out like I said, like the first 3 games were really tough, and then we didn't play the greatest teams the next few weeks, and then we played Union. And they're usually always good, and now we got Huntington, they're 5A. They've got the loudest band I've ever heard. They got
That's true.
Their D-line. They're huge. But it's a big game. It's going to be a great atmosphere at Calvary this week.
And we've seen it time and time again. Every time Calvary plays a team like this, it's a blast.
Yeah, well, and this is how they gauge their preparation for playoffs: is play teams that are going to be deeper than you and is athletic or more athletic than you, and this always serves them well. So hopefully they can get out of that game with a win and get out of there healthy.
For sure. We also have an eye, of course, on Loyola and North DeSoto. Do they stay on this path? Loyola, I believe, is at Booker T. Washington, and North DeSoto is at Woodlawn. Feels like we're going to be at a 9-0 clash here in a week.
Yeah, so I think Loyola's Booker T game will be a little more competitive than the other one. I'll tell you, the matchup's going to come down to whether or not Booker T can stop Loyola. No one has done it this year, not even Minden. I'm going to be honest, after playing Northwood last week, I think Northwood's going to be a challenge because they can play offense well enough to score a lot of points. They're creative on special teams, and they're very aggressive on defense. And so if they can get pressure, if Booker T can get pressure and force Bryce off of scheduled throws, they can make things difficult for him. But they got to be able to stop the run, and they've got to be able to make Bryce, go from his first or second progression to his third or fourth and try to get pressure. If they don't, Loyola is good enough to score every single time they have the ball. They're that good.
Yeah, oh yeah.
They're that good on offense, and I do think that game where they play North DeSoto, I do believe both teams will be undefeated, and I do think that it's going to come down to a shootout. And Loyola's one of those last year where they didn't throw it as well as they're throwing it this year, but they can still run the ball, so they can do both. And North DeSoto's playing the best ball they played all year. So here's to a great week, but next week is going to be unbelievable.
Fired up. And do you get to tune in or check in on games like that? Let's say you get to next week, you want to see Loyola, North DeSoto. How do you take those in?
Well, I'll be at that game next week because we play on Thursday.
Love it.
For senior night at Green Oaks. One of my best friends, actually, some of my best friends play for Loyola, and then one of my closest friends, Christian Ashworth, plays at North DeSoto. He transferred from Calvary last year, but I'll definitely be at that game next week.
Who do you think maybe is your favorite local quarterback, a guy that you really admire or you're close with?
Probably Bryce. We work out all summer together, so
they compete against each other. I'm telling you, it's
must-see
fun
TV
to watch.
right there.
It's fun to watch. Like if you just need some content, come watch these two go at it. I'm telling you, it is a war every time they go
Well,
out
don't
there.
tell me that, because we got a lot of summer months where we're looking for
it is,
something to do.
it's great. It's great stuff. It's
Yeah.
In fact, Reynolds Moore's like, I don't think we've ever had this much talent
Yeah.
with just our, high school, middle school kids are so talented. He was saying that this summer between Bryce and Huddy and some of the other guys, C.T. Woodard, who's sitting there behind Weathersby. He's going to be legit too. So
Yeah.
there's a lot of local talent, but that I'm not surprised by his answer, because I'm sure if you ask Bryce would probably say Huddy.
Yeah, love it, man. You mentioned Houghton slightly there, and they host Evangel. The way Houghton's offense has been playing versus the way their defense has been playing, that could be a
Evangel's defense is way better than it's been in the past.
The shutout last week.
And Byron Dawson's son at nose guard, he's legit.
Okay, I was going to ask you if
He
that was
is legit.
Oh yeah, because he had that huge tackle on Malachi on fourth down, and then they gave him the ball at the goal line, and he scores it.
I laughed because I didn't know. I just thought it was just Dawson. I didn't put anything to it. And when they said, "Oh yeah, that's Byron's son," I was like, "Oh well, that makes all the sense in the world."
Gosh, it makes
because
me
he's
feel
just
even
blowing
older.
dudes off the ball, and he's really good.
Yeah.
So Evangel's defense is very talented, and more so this year than they've been in the previous 4, 5, 6, 7 years. Like they're really talented, and they fly to the ball, and they generate turnovers, and they're making plays and taking pressure off the offense to have to score every time. So Alton's in for a tough one.
Yeah,
I do
I'd
think
say
Halton
so.
will score, and I do think that Weathersby put up numbers. I think Ethan's going to have a big night receiving, but it's going to come at a cost for sure.
Yeah, and how do you stay focused when you're a guy like Taylor and you're putting up these huge video game style numbers? I mean, Ethan Johnson's breaking every Houghton record every time they go out there.
Yep.
And yet, the wins just aren't coming for you. How do you kind of stay engaged?
We went through this at Natchitoches Central in 2023 when I was there with Jess. Owen was putting up really good numbers every week. We had the number one receiver in the state in Cam Davis in the slot. Joe Cryer's just flat backing kids down the field every week. We were scoring 30 points a game and not winning. And so it's one of those where you just got to focus on the process and doing the things that you've been asked to do as a player. And then, if you don't get the outcome on the scoreboard, at least did you do your job? And where can I get better? Because that drives you to get better the next week. And so I'm sure Taylor's doing the same things. I mean, there's things that he can't, it's outside of his control. So as long as the offense is doing what they're supposed to be doing and he's doing what he's coached to do, it'll keep him rolling. And at the end of the day, make it difficult for these teams that are, better than you and gearing up for playoffs. Go out there and carve them up and put up numbers to where, hey, look, Weathersby, even though they have a losing record, this kid's put up incredible numbers this year. Now, at the end of the year, you may get some postseason recognition. You never know.
And finally, the last thing before we talk about an Arkansas game, because I have a really good one to pick this week. I actually did a little research. Your quarterback, Montreville Lewis, set a pretty impressive milestone. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so, Bossier Parish has not had a 1,000-yard passer, 1,000-yard rusher in single season record. Now, Brandon Harris in 2013, when he took him to the Dome, threw for 3,200 yards and rushed for just over 1,000 yards. We did that in an extended season with the Dome run. Montreville, and he was also a senior. Montreville is a sophomore. He is an athlete. He's not really a polished quarterback. And he's done it in 7 games.
Wow.
And he did it against a Northwood defense that knew Bossier's got one bullet, and we're not going to let him score. And he threw for 151, rushed for 141, and had 2 touchdowns. And by the way, had 5 possessions where we were inside their 30-yard line and didn't score. Mm-hmm. So you put those points on the board, I don't believe that we compete with them. I believe they probably score 60 or 70, but Montreville is a special player, and I'm very proud of what he's accomplished. Frankie Gatson was a quarterback at Southwood in the early 2000s that did it. He was the last player to do it in the Shreveport-Bossier area, and he even got on the post that was shared and commented, "Congratulations, young man!
Awesome.
Keep reaching,
Love
and
that.
so it's pretty cool to see a Southwood legend, tip the cap to a kid that's accomplished what he's accomplished. So our season's not over. We're trying to make the playoffs, and so Montreville knows, man, it doesn't matter what your stats are. We want to win.
Yep.
And so he, he was cool. He thought it was cool that he got the numbers, but at the end of the day, he wants to win. He's also leading Bossier Parish in rush yards.
Wow.
And I think he's top 2 or 3 in Caddo Bossier in rush yards. He's got over 1,100 rushing yards, and I think it's 22 touchdowns. So
yeah, that ain't bad.
Pretty
at all.
impressive.
So yeah, I mean, if you're looking for somewhere to go on a Friday night, you've seen everyone else. Go to Bossier, see Montreville. I mean, it's awesome. I mean, what he's doing and what you guys have done has been a ton of fun this year. And all right, so we do this every week. We have you guys pick an Arkansas.
I'm picking first
game.
because Brady picked last week and beat me.
Yeah, but now traditionally I do zero research on these teams. I try to just find the wackiest name teams and then throw them at you. But this week we have a huge matchup, and it is one of the teams we have picked before, and you picked them based solely on mascot, and you were right. But this one's a little better. Okay, so Coach will pick first. We have Bismarck versus the Curly Wolves of Prescott. But here's the deal, though. Both are one-loss teams, both unbeaten in district. This could be a district championship game at the home of the Curly Wolves.
I can't go against the Curly Wolves.
All right. Okay,
So watch the Bismarck.
Bismarck's all you then.
Yep,
All right.
Bismarck it is, I
All right,
guess.
well, I'll be sure to. We will have highlights of that game.
Great pick,
on,
Hunter.
yeah,
Great
really,
pick.
really insightful stuff.
That analysis is incredible.
Are you available next week? We'll have you back on with that analysis. But we will have highlights, so I'll shout you out on the show on Friday. We'll make sure to. And if it is a Bismarck win, we'll give Coach the appropriate amount of.
You need to dog me out.
Yes.
Give Huddy all the plug.
Because it's tough when he's right so
Yep.
frequently. I mean, I'm sure you experience that when
It
you
is
work
what
with
it
him.
is.
Yeah, exactly. Well, man, it's been great to actually get a chance to meet you
Yes,
and
sir.
talk to you, man. I wish you guys the best of luck. Obviously, we love Calvary, and anywhere that Coach Gewin is coaching, I have a special place in my heart. So thanks for hanging out with us, Coach. Anything else before we wrap it up?
Hey, can you ask Coach Gewin to throw more than 8 passes this Friday? I think so. I think 4 quarters of football this week and 35 passes.
I hope so.
Put a 300 spot up.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about. Cut it loose,
Guys.
big dog.
Yes, sir.
Love it. Well, thanks to our guest, of course, and thanks to you for hanging out with us here on the 3 Fever Point After podcast. Southern Classic Chicken's Friday Football Fever will air at the same time and same place every week, 10:30 on KPXJ CW21. We'll see you then.